Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, USAF announces retention bonus scheme. Sporty's revamped CFI refresher course. Duckworth impugns proposed amendment to FAA legislation. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training, a weekly program dedicated to future aviators and aviation professionals. Airborne Flight Training is brought to you in part by King Schools. King Schools has been leading the effort in producing expert aviation training programs and computer-based learning software for nearly 50 years. Find out why pilots love King teaching at kingschools.com. Now let's get into today's stories. USAF announces retention bonus scheme. Military aviators eyeing separation got another data point to consider before filing their paperwork, a $50,000 bonus aimed at keeping the USAF's investments in the service. The bonuses come under the Legacy Aviation Bonus Program, which builds off the previous bonus with a bump from its previous monetary cap of $35,000 per year up to $50,000 per year. The bonus program, quote, builds upon the previous year's offers to decisively shape and retain experienced rated officers to meet Air Force retention, training, and mission readiness requirements, end quote, by sweetening the pot to retain select pilots, air battle managers, and combat systems officers. Of course, the bonus is tied to an active duty service commitment, leaving personnel to work out the cost-benefit ratio to decide which is best for their lifestyle. The program takes applications through September 15, 2023. Those who signed up for the older bonus program will remain locked into their $35,000 cap with no provision to renegotiate to a higher amount in 2023. A separate rated officer retention demonstration program will provide a similar boon to manned aircraft pilots with no more than 3 years remaining on contract. And coming up after the break, Diamond's Dart 750 turboprop aerobatic trainer flies.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Throughout the globe, Piper Aircraft has hand-selected the very best in company representation, service, and support. From first inquiry to acquisition to product support, Piper Aircraft ownership is seamless and worry-free. Piper Aircraft authorized dealers, factory trained, factory connected.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Diamond's Dart 750 turboprop aerobatic trainer flies. Diamond Aircraft announced its PT-6A 25C powered Dart 750 aerobatic trainer had made its first flight at the company's Austrian headquarters. The test flight, which spanned 30 minutes and covered all basic flight maneuvers and performance and handling checks, was piloted by Diamond's head of flight tests Soren Peterson and senior test pilot Nico DeRusis. The test flight spanned 30 minutes and covered all basic flight maneuvers and performance and handling checks. The aircraft and all evaluated parameters met or exceeded the expectations of the machine's designers. FlightSimExpo lands in Houston June 23rd through 25th. Upwards of 2,000 attendees are expected to participate in FlightSimExpo, a dedicated flight simulation event. FlightSimExpo 2023 will be held across 2 locations near Houston's William P. Hobby Airport from Friday, June 23rd through Sunday, June 25th. The event affords flight simulation fans opportunity to interact with developers, try out the latest simulation hardware and software, and meet fellow practitioners of the simulation arts. The event is open to the public. More NATO pilots found training PLAAF personnel. Another training controversy between Western pilots and their Chinese employers has made headlines, this time involving former German Luftwaffe aviators and the Chinese Air Force. German news outlets referenced a meeting between the Minister of Defense and his Chinese counterpart. The summit saw both parties touch on the ongoing phenomenon of ex-Luftwaffe pilots training counterparts abroad as civilian instructors. Last year, the UK took issue with the same phenomenon, where Royal Air Force pilots moved on to civilian flight training jobs that directly improved the readiness of the People's Liberation Army Air Force. CAE awarded USAF rotary wing training contract. CAE announced its CAE Defense and Security Division has been awarded the U.S. Air Force Rotary Wing Introductory Flight Training Contract to support the service's Air Education and Training Command. The contract tasks CAE with providing flight training to USAF student pilots as part of the branch's Helicopter Training Next program. The $44.5 million initial contract award supports training of all initial USAF Rotary Wing air, ground, and simulation training. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Sporty's revamped CFI Refresher Course. Sporty's has updated its online Flight Instructor Refresher Course for 2023, adding a bevy of new topics for up-to-date focus areas and a sleeker, higher-quality user interface than previous packages. Sporty says, quote, "As always, the FIRC is completely free for all active flight instructors and educators," end quote. The offering is a fine way to get lapsed flight instructors back up to speed, particularly in a time when the FAA has increasingly looked to them to serve as the bulwark of GA flight safety. Sporty Senior Vice President Brett Kobe said, quote, "As instructors ourselves, we know how frustrating many FIRC experiences can be, so we set out to create a modern, engaging, and easy-to-use course. This year's edition continues our focus on practical topics to make flight training more effective, and by making it available for free, we hope to make the CFI renewal process completely hassle-free," end quote. The FIRC follows the same general flow of other Sporty's courses, providing lesson material, graphics, new weather tools, regulatory updates, safety trends, and review quizzes. Of particular interest to returning CFIs is the IACRA tip module, helping instructors navigate the sometimes vexing FAA system. And after these messages, Duckworth impugns proposed amendment to FAA legislation.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/Rusty today for details.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. Duckworth impugns proposed amendment to FAA legislation. Senator Tammy Duckworth, Democrat of Illinois, somewhat hyperbolically warned lawmakers supportive of a proposal by Senators Kyrsten Sinema, Independent of Arizona, and John Thune, Republican of South Dakota, that they stood to have blood on their hands. Duckworth, who serves as chair of the Subcommittee on Aviation Safety, is a former U.S. Army helicopter pilot. In 2004, a Black Hawk helicopter being flown by Duckworth was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade fired by Iraqi insurgents. Duckworth lost both legs and some mobility in her right arm, thereby becoming the war's first female double amputee. Speaking out during a June 15th Senate floor speech, Duckworth impugned an amendment added to the iteration of an FAA reauthorization bill passed the day prior, contending she is, quote, "only alive because of the swift actions of an experienced flight crew," end quote.
There has never been a worse time to consider weakening pilot certification requirements to produce less experienced pilots. 2023 has already been a chilling year for our civil aviation system. We've witnessed a disturbing rise of near-deadly close calls that led the FAA to convene an unprecedented safety summit where the acting administrator warned that the entire aviation industry need to not grow complacent because complacency kills.
And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.